Well, let's get right into the 2019 top risks report. The new report starts by saying the geopolitical environment is the most dangerous in decades, yet the global economy is pretty good, the markets are up and down, not too bad, and a lot of your risks are not urgent.
Right.
So as you said in your report, what is wrong with this picture? So can you answer your own question? What is wrong with that picture?
Not much is wrong with that picture if you're looking at 2019. I mean, so here's the interesting thing, is that we've been doing this, I started Eurasia Group back in 1998, so we've been doing this work for a long time now. Yet when you put out a top risk report and you launch it and everyone's talking to you about it, and it's a big deal, you have this big platform, right? And you want to tell people what you think the state of the world is. And yet, 2019 is this artificial 12-month period.
Completely arbitrary.
I could have very easily presented the report and just said, guys, this is a pretty good year. But you and I know, and the people watching us right now know, that geopolitically, not only are things not good, but they're heading in a direction that is more problematic than any in our lifetimes. And so for us not to talk about that, I think it is absolutely rational that the markets are not pricing this in particularly. Because I don't think in the near foreseeable future that we are heading for this kind of a disaster. There should be some hedging. There should be some risk-off behavior, as they say in the markets. There definitely are some concerns around U.S.-China trade near term, though I don't think it will blow up at all. There are other things like that. But the long term, as I mentioned before, the resilience. This is not sustainable. Like right now, the geopolitical order is heading for cyber war, trade war, tech war, war, right? I mean, we are. And at some point, we have to start fixing these things or a lot of people are going to die. I mean, that's really what it amounts to. The word this year was geopolitical climate change.
Climate change.
Yeah.
You want to explain that now?
You can, doesn't matter.
So, well, I think you better explain it because you came up with it.
Well, okay.
So it's my interpretation of geopolitical climate change is it's a risk that's inevitably going to come, but it's very difficult to harness a sort of a collective action, if you will. Right?
It is very hard to harness collective action, and yet the science is very clear. In other words, 30, 40 years ago, you go and talk to climatologists, there was not a lot of uncertainty that climate change was happening. There were uncertainty on details, on speed, but everyone recognized that if we don't address this, a lot of people are going to die. It's going to be a very suboptimal outcome for the world. And yet, because of the collective action problem that you just talked about, here we are. And look at insurance companies, and look at Bangladesh, and look at the Maldives, and all of these things that were utterly predictable. You didn't need a crystal ball. We are now experiencing that geopolitically. The major problem is that geopolitics, we're not talking about 30 years like climate change, more like 30 months, right? Like, this isn't going to last 30 years, right? Wheels are going to come off before then. And it is really obvious that we've got a collective action problem. We can't respond to it effectively. We won't respond to it effectively. So it's going to get worse before we start to really address the issue.